And there we go. 7:32 Central Time here in Nashville, Tennessee. Day one of taper for Ironman, Wisconsin. I am Mike, co-host of the Crushing Iron podcast. Today we released episode 297, I believe. It's called What's Your Burnout Rate? We talk about how to pick races and when it's a good time to schedule races for next year, coming off of the stuff you did this year. And not making hasty decisions and all kinds of stuff like that. Episode 297. What's your burnout rate on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all that stuff. But here I am, day one of taper, and I feel like dog meat. I don't know what it is, but I had a big week last week, of course, and I guess you sort of mentally get into a place where you're like, oh, all right, now it's going to be easy, but it isn't quite easy necessarily. I had a pretty hard swim this afternoon, and I had a super easy run. I brought back the 10:17 tonight because I had a 30-minute easy run. I really try to keep it in zone 1, zone 2, and it's a lot cooler here, but man, it's still humid. And I just ran out there with a t-shirt on thinking, no big deal. And I haven't been running with a shirt or I usually run some kind of maybe like a kit top or something like that. And t-shirts, man, how did we used to run in those things in the summer? We used to be stronger and tougher, I think, in some ways. Well, I never ran before, but I remember I always used to run in t-shirts, and man, it felt like a big weight on my back, a weight vest or something. But anyway, the day one of taper, as I said, I just feel like, it's like, oh, no, it's going to be easy. And then you have that you're not like stoked or psyched up about trying to go get a big workout. And I ran out slow. And I'm not kidding you. I think it was like one of the harder runs I've had in a long time. 30 minutes is actually 28 minutes. I got just under 3 miles, maybe 2.7 or 8 miles. And I just didn't feel that great out there, but it is day one of taper. So I think that's all to be expected. And it's important that I kind of just air that out or talk about that because, sometimes you go through a grind, man. You just got to keep, I guess, pushing through it. I did start feeling a little bit better towards the end of that run. So that's the whole point. It's like, you just can't necessarily buy into how you feel when you start out on something like this. And the swim was similar, I guess. I felt pretty strong towards the end. I did a bunch of hundreds today, zone 3, zone 4 type stuff, mainly zone 3 probably. But that was supposed to be the workout, but I have been doing mainly 500s. Lots of sickness out there. Be careful. Lots of sickness out there. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, man, I just I know that stuff is out there, but I just I don't know how to be careful. I guess colds. Yeah, I mean, it was colder today. Every time I swim, I get kind of congested. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't know. I don't know how you prevent that kind of stuff. I think I'm not like a big fan of the what are those wipes called and all that stuff. I think that kind of lowers your immune system in the long run. So I don't do that. I just try to sleep good and drink a lot of water. But yeah, I appreciate it because yeah, I don't know. I just try not to get that stuff in my head. Really, it's happened before, and oddly enough, no, this is interesting. I got kind of sick the 2 days before Ironman Chattanooga a few years ago, and it ended up being my best Ironman. So I just, like, I don't know, I wouldn't suggest that or recommend it, but it's sort of like, I think maybe it just sort of took the pressure off the race. And that's one of the big things I always like to think about is like, man, I just can't can't get too wrapped up in any of this stuff. It's just a thing. It's like we always talk about on the podcast. It's sort of like graduating from college. It's the day you get your diploma. You put the work in, and technically you're already an Ironman if you've worked this hard. So just go out and celebrate and have fun that day. As much as traveling 140.6 miles is fun, but it can be, obviously. I mean, there's nothing like that last half mile or quarter mile coming down the final home stretch after you've made it through all that stuff, because it is a grind, and you're going to have your mind talk you into lots of things along that way, and you have to really just kind of say, no, I'm not going to let that happen. It's just going to, and that's the thing that's going on right now. Is like, I feel like, I don't feel like, I just don't feel it, I didn't feel like running. But I want to nail this taper. I want to just do the little things and keep going. And I went out super slow. I ran like a 10-20 mile, and that's easily the slowest I've ran in probably 6 months. But I felt like, yesterday I got done with that hour and a half run, and I was a little bit sore. And that was kind of unusual too. I don't know what that was all about, but today was all about just, being kind to my body and just sort of letting it recover. Really going recovery here. So 10:17 is back, Jake. It was back tonight, and I never had to walk. I never got below 10-minute pace, so that was actually kind of impressive for me. Tomorrow, I got like an hour bike tomorrow with some pretty hard efforts for an hour, and that's it. So kind of digging these shorter days, but still it's a 10-hour week, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. It's like an easy week, and 99.9% of America probably doesn't do 10 hours of working out a week. So it's like the easy first week of taper, and I was kind of looking at next week. It's like 3 hours. So it's like, man, what are we going to do? It's going to be weird. And so Phil told me I got a little bit too testy yesterday with that turnover chain stuff, so I will not go back there. I'm excited for college football a little bit. I'm excited to be around the Badger atmosphere up there. I probably won't go to the game, but it'll be nice to see people walking around. Hopefully maybe catch the band coming through the area. That's always fun when they go to the tailgates and stuff like that. So what else do I have to say today? I just think that if you're tapering, or if you've got a race coming up, just you're almost there. Don't give in. I'm gonna keep bringing it daily. That doesn't mean like super hard, but I'm just gonna keep bringing it the right way, doing the things that are right for my body from here on out. And yeah, that avoids, or hopefully avoids, any kind of illness or any of that kind of stuff. But it's important. It's important to recover right now. Like, this is like not just a day of recovery. This is sort of 2 weeks of letting your body get back in shape and building that stuff up. Yeah, Wes. Dude, when are you coming up, man? Thursday? That's going to be good, man. It'll be calming to see everybody around. We got so many people around there. And I feel good about the team, man. I think everybody's put a lot of hard work in, and it's just going to be a fun day to see it all pay off. And I think everybody's got a pretty level head about what's going on, and we've got a bunch of guys up there in that big 50 plus area. Some pretty strong people out there. I don't know if Strauss, he doesn't do. Mark, are you out there by any chance? That Burlio, he keeps wondering what you're doing, man. I'm giving Mark such a hard time. I know that's an inside joke, but Mark's done well. He's been on the podium up there, and he's in my age group. And Strasser. Hey, Mark, what's up, man? He's Mark Strasser. He's in my age group, and I keep giving him a hard time because he's been on the podium, and there's a guy up there that goes up there every year and does real good. And I keep telling him, that guy keeps texting me and asking me what how Mark's training's been going and stuff. I'm just having fun with it. Why aren't you doing Wisconsin, Rob? That's our team race, man. 35 plus crushing iron affiliated athletes will be taking the course in Madison. Oh, you're doing Florida? Okay. Different game. That one's in November. Am I right? It's a whole different ball game down there. So we were talking about the course a little bit today in Wisconsin, and on the podcast, and it was a good discussion, I guess, about like how much can I talk about it, really? I guess that what was I was looking at the run elevation. It's like 900 feet, not too bad. Mainly one section, 3 hills. I think I talked about that yesterday, but is there anything else that needs to be talked about regarding Wisconsin? We're on day 1 of a 13-day taper, or 13 days out from Wisconsin. Anybody else feel like ass today on their first day of taper? It was a weird day for me. Had the podcast. I felt pretty good all this morning, but I think it was just the run. Oh, you did, Wes. Good. I'm glad you felt like ass out there today. It was just a weird one, man. Legs are a little stiff and sore from yesterday. Tom, you felt like ass too. All right, that's good. See, we're supporting each other in our misery, but we all plowed through it, and here we are. And now we know that you're not alone out there feeling like ass. I hope that doesn't happen tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to, the process is the process. By the time next week comes around, we're going to be like, bulls in china shops or horses in the gates, just ready to bust out, right? And then it's all about containing ourselves. So it's going to be interesting, man. I hope everybody's, for me, it's been a long time goal to actually kind of run an Ironman marathon well. So that's still the goal. Still remains to be seen. Still remains to be determined on how well I bike and how that affects me. But it'd be really nice if I didn't get to like that turnaround and go, why did I do this again? I just don't want to be saying that for a whole second loop of the marathon. And that was kind of what we were talking about today, man. It's sort of like, now I got to go back and get revenge. And then you sign up again, and then you do the same thing over and over. So that's why I've worked pretty hard since last November to be a better runner. And now we're going to see if that holds true. But I can say that I think that I'm much better runner than I was last year, at least trained up wise. So, but it's all relative, right? I could go out there and blow that up just as simple. And I know, Tom, you're probably going to be laying down 730s on that first loop. And Wes, is the hunchback coming back? Tom, you don't think so? I bet you almost any money you run a sub-8 first mile out of transition. Wes, I don't want to see that hunchback guy, man. Oh man, that was the best. But once is enough, man. For anybody that doesn't know, Wes last year did Louisville, and his back was a little bit whacked out at the end of that race. And then that was such a painful look you had going. Not this year. So we on, Tom? Can you keep it above 8-minute pace for that first mile? I'm trying to think of what kind of bet we could have. I think we should bet to see who can have the slowest first mile. First mile is a little bit uphill out of transition, and then there's definitely some downhill, and then it flattens out. So it's even. But we're gonna look at your chart because you that when you come around the Capitol, it starts kind of going downhill, and then for 2 blocks down State Street with people drinking and partying and screaming, and a little bit of a nice. It's like a perfect running downhill. I bet you any money that stretch you're going in the sixes. Oh man. But yeah, we should have a little bet to see who runs the slowest first mile or the slowest first split. Because there's no way you can keep it over 9. You're in though? Okay. Wes, you in? Let's see who can run the. Let's see. No, I don't have any other ideas. The fastest last mile. You think you'd win that bet, Wes? That first mile? Yeah. Um, it's gonna be fun, man. We should have a lot of those side bets just for fun because I know we're all gonna be like jacked coming out of T2 or like I was the first time I did Wisconsin. I got off that bike and I seriously could not bend my leg. I felt I was walking like Herman Munster in through transition. I just didn't know, I'd ridden that far before, but I'd never really broached any kind of like anything probably more than 5 miles off the bike after a 100-mile ride. And then all of a sudden you got to run a marathon and you're like, how in the world? When you can't walk, normally, I should say. And I tell you what, if you're just out there spectating, that's one of my favorite things to do. It's kind of sadistic, but stand sort of, there's a place you can stand above on there's a railing or a balcony kind of situation where you can stand right above where they dismount off the bike and just to watch people walk down in their bike shoes down into the transition. It's kind of entertaining. And now that I said that, I'm gonna have to fake it. I'm gonna have to act cool because like it's a weird feeling. Last year at Louisville, when I got off the bed that cold, rainy day, it was 50 degrees. I got off that bike, man. I really wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to run at all, man. It was a weird one. And then you have to run your bike all the way down that get off the bike in the street, and then you got to run all the way down that path. It's like 200 yards, I feel like. Maybe not that far. But it's a long way to take your bike. At Wisconsin, you just roll up that helix and then you literally just give them your bike right there and you just walk right into the changing area. It's pretty sweet. I for some reason my first time I thought I would have to run my bike somewhere back towards the other end or something like that, but they just take it right from you right away. It's kind of nice. Uh, but yeah, so I don't know, Tom, if they have that old course, like last year there was a detour and you had to come out of transition. It was a pretty big it's like a half block or more, but it's a pretty steep hill right out of the gate. And that could slow you down. But other than that, I still think you might be sub 8. Anyway, this is going nowhere, but I guess that's the whole point, right? What else am I going to do? I'm going to try and think of some good games to play next time. Some good ideas. But I appreciate everybody checking in here. It is now 7:51 in Nashville, and I will soon be heading to the glorious state of Wisconsin, probably this weekend. Get up there early, get accustomed to the time change, the latitude differences, settle in, get my feet on the ground, get used to the oxygen, change the water. That's why, the water thing, I grew up on that water, and I think that gives me a little bit of an advantage, frankly, Kind of was like, oh, this is like the fountain of youth for me. Going back to Wisconsin, drinking that water, just sucking it down. But yeah, in all seriousness, now is the time to be drinking a lot of water. I think it's the most underrated part of triathlon, personally. It's hard to do it, but you know how I think that might have been what happened to me today. I don't think I had enough water. I was just like doing the coffee. I got to really stop that. Now's the time to start weaning off it a little bit because I got to, nowadays I'm just having coffee and then I have a little time and I decide when I'm going to work out. But race morning, you're starting at 7. Got to have some hydration going on. But yeah, no more questions. Well, I guess there wasn't any questions, but okay. Check out the podcast 297. What's your burnout rate? And then we'll be bringing it live in front of an audience a week from Friday. So looking forward to that. I'm give a shout out of Tom Silas. Thank you. This is the mic that Tom gave me as a gift for staying at my house for camp, and I appreciate that. I always have. I think I've told you before, but since it's like a fixture in these broadcasts, I think it's important to give you that shout out. Sleep well? Oh, thanks, dude. I won't be going to sleep for a while, but maybe I should. Oh, I've been watching Mindhunter. I started yesterday. I couldn't stop. I went through about 4 or 5 episodes. Already got to the Charlie Manson scene, which is craziness. I don't know why I watched that, to be honest. Robbie likes it. It does sound good, man. Thanks, Rob. The Robbie likes that Mindhunter, and I kind of get in there, but it kind of freaks me out a little bit. A little dark, but it's good. So I'm gonna go watch some, maybe one more. I'm gonna watch one episode, and then I'm gonna do something productive or sleep. All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. 13 days till a race. Those of you that are racing with me, keep positive. Let's do it.